You say after the next 5 reels, you'll stop and go do the thing you know you have to do. You're even counting the reels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 30 minutes later, you are still sitting there, completely stuck, unable to get yourself up to do anything productive. That was my life 3 years ago. But here's the part nobody gets. This has nothing to do with being lazy. There's one shift that makes motivation come back automatically. If you don't know me yet, my name is Lawrence, and about 3 years ago I also was completely trapped in this cheap dopamine cycle. But after I made this one shift, going to the gym, learning the piano, and even making my first money online became way easier. The crazy part is, what feels like a motivation problem is actually something much darker happening underneath. Let me show you. The problem is that you're not taking action. And you now think, okay, to take action I need motivation. And that's actually right. But there are two types of motivation that often get confused. The one is hype. This feeling of it's easy. Doing the hard stuff really gets easy. I want to do it. I'm just hyped. I'm motivated. That's what many people think of when they think about motivation. But hype, this feeling of it's easy to do the hard stuff, that's really temporary. That's really rare. You don't have that really often. And that's also why you shouldn't rely on it. Because if you want to achieve anything, like maybe building a great physique, then relying on hype is not going to work. Because it maybe gets you to the gym for 2 weeks, but then this hype will also go away again. So if you really want to get somewhere, relying on this feeling of hype won't get you there. And the second type of motivation, the motivation you actually need and can rely on, is the ability to do the hard stuff if it doesn't feel easy, but you're still doing it. That's the motivation you need, because that's way more sustainable. If you know what to do, but doing it feels impossible, then you don't lack this feeling of hype, but you lack the motivation, the ability to just do it even if you don't want to do it. So for example, when I was in school, I noticed my grades going down in a few different subjects. And of course I knew to get back to good grades, I have to learn. I have to put in the time to get better in those subjects. But it really felt impossible. Sometimes I would sit down, learn a bit, but there was no consistency, no real motivation. I just couldn't get myself up to do it. And I didn't need this feeling of, okay, it's easy to do it, because that would only get me through a few days of learning. I needed that motivation that just got me to do the hard stuff, even if I don't wanted to do it. And the good news are, getting this real motivation, the ability to do the hard stuff, is actually a simpler process than getting this feeling of hype. Because this sustainable motivation, this is taken away from the modern world, from instant gratification. That just means in the modern world, there's so many rewards you can get without putting in the work. For example, when you go on social media, that's a reward. Or if you're hungry, you can just eat junk food. That's also a reward. You get very many calories without actually doing something for it. And because you have all those rewards where you don't even have to put in a bit of work, now putting in the work to get a real reward is way, way harder, and often feels even impossible. At least it was like that for me a few years ago. And here's where it gets scary. Because the real damage doesn't happen today, it happens to your future self. If you don't have this motivation to do this stuff you don't want to do, this sustainable motivation we talked about, then what does that mean long term? It means that you're not going to be able to take action on something. Like with me in school, my grades went down, but just this base motivation that I needed to just do something, it wasn't there, and it really felt impossible. I felt like I had no power over my own life. And if you stay in this state, of course that also means that you won't be able to achieve anything you actually want. Because all the stuff we really want, maybe if it's building a great physique or building great friendships or anything, all this stuff, of course, it needs work. There's effort you have to put in. But if you don't have this base motivation and you are not really able to take action, even though you know what you have to do, then of course you won't achieve the stuff you actually want. You will keep getting this fake satisfaction instead of the real thing you want. For example, the desire for friendship is met with a fake satisfaction through social media, for example. Or the desire for love is met by the fake satisfaction of porn. Or the desire for making real progress in your life is met by the fake satisfaction of video games. So if this base motivation won't come back, nothing will change. And you will keep feeling exhausted and tired, even though you actually didn't really do anything. But the good news are, this whole downward spiral can flip way faster than you think, if you just fix this one specific thing. Because there is a proven way to actually get back this sustainable base motivation. And even a bit of this hype of the feeling that it's easy to do the hard stuff. And it is by getting control over this instant gratification. So by getting control over all those rewards you get without having to put in the work. Like, for example, social media, porn, or video games. I'm not saying you have to stop doing all of it completely, but if you want to get healthy levels of motivation and actually want to get power back in your life, then you need to get control over this. Because if your brain knows you get all those rewards you want without having to put in any work, then of course why should it do work? And if you get back control over this and decrease this stuff, then your brain starts accepting, okay, to get the stuff I actually want, I just have to put in the work. And then this base motivation comes back. Then your ability to act comes back. So you won't feel powerless anymore. Like I felt when my grades went down and I knew what I had to do, but I just couldn't get myself up to actually do it. This will go away and you will start being able to just do the hard stuff. To do this stuff you don't even want to do, but you know you have to do. Or even just starting the stuff you actually want to do. So for example, you want to go to the gym, but you couldn't get yourself up to actually start. This also becomes way easier. Because in general, just your ability to take action comes back. And if you think about what actually gets your life to change, you will come to the conclusion it's through action. And if your ability to take action gets better, your whole life will get better. And the good part is it's absolutely doable. I did it, you can do it too. Of course, it's not easy, but it's simple. It's hard, but doable. You can do it. Because in general, you know what to do. You just have to decrease those instant rewards like social media, porn, video games. And then you will notice your motivation comes back. And there is actually something that makes this whole process 10 times easier. And it's having a strong why. Having a strong reason to stop doing this stuff. Because that's what actually makes you stick with all this stuff. That gets you to put in the effort. And if you want to know the exact process of how to get a strong why, watch this video. I hope this video helped you and I wish you a nice day.